Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The show is about to begin.
Oh, hi. All right, guys, thanks for joining me tonight. This is a special edition of Physical Media Coast to Coast because I'm being joined by my good friend Dan from Return the Disc. And yeah, if I can, oh, there we go. There you go. There you are.
Hey.
Hey, I was trying to bring you in. It wouldn't let me for some reason. Yeah, so thanks for joining me tonight. This is a little bit of a
Thanks for
short
having me
notice.
on, man. It's always a pleasure to talk Rocky.
Right? Yeah. You're much more of a Rocky fan than I am. I mean, I like Rocky, but I think you're more of a diehard fan than I am. And you're going to show.
Why do you say that?
Well, you're going to show something later on, a book.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so tonight we thought, you know what, Rocky Ultimate Knockout Collection is finally available here on 4K UHD. They also released this last year, which we're going to talk a little bit about why they did this. What was the reasoning? We have our thoughts on it. And yeah, and we're going to talk about Rocky 5. Then we're going to talk about Rocky Balboa and Rocky 4, the theatrical and the director's cut. So if you guys haven't seen either one of those and for some reason don't want it spoiled, then be warned because there's going to be spoilers.
Apollo
lives. Real quick, first here, quick announcement here. I've got some giveaways still for Sting and Last Stop in Yuma County. And I'm going to be doing this giveaways during a, I guess I'm calling it Ask Me All or Ask Me Anything video that I'm going to do a live. And I figured out how to choose the winner. I'm going to do a horror trivia. So I'm going to pick a card and ask some trivia questions, and whoever answers it right first gets the movie. First, before we dive into Rocky, if it's okay, I was going to just, since this is a physical media show, I was going to just show real quick some stuff that I got in yesterday.
Yeah, go for it. Am I supposed to say yes? It's okay. I give you consent.
And then, yeah. And if you don't, it doesn't matter because I'm doing it anyways. So here we go. First up from Arrow Video, we have Heathers. This is the 4K UHD that just came out. This is only available in the UK. So I imported in from Diabolic DVD. I've always loved this movie. It's one of my favorites. And I hear the 4K is outstanding. Then I also got the Bill and Ted Most Triumphant Trilogy. All 3 movies on 4K UHD. So that's pretty cool. And then this is something that I was actually sent this from Arrow Video, and that is When Titans Ruled the Earth, Wrath of the Titans, and what's the other one? Clash of the Titans and Wrath of the Titans. Now, I, like myself, like others, I was also disappointed thinking they were going to actually release the original cut, the original version of the movie, but instead they just released the remake and then the sequel to the remake, which kind of sucks. I think Warner Brothers is going to release the original themselves.
Looks like classic artwork.
Yeah, that's why so many people were so confused, because it looks like the original. And so many people were confused. And then when Arrow said, no, it's the remake, everyone was pissed off, which I completely understand. Then I went and picked up Zone of Interest from A24.
Oh, yeah.
I have not. Yeah. I have not seen this yet. I hear a lot of mixed emotions, a lot of mixed reviews about it. A lot of people say that it's hard hitting. Other people say it's very boring. But I don't know. So we'll see. And then lastly, I got this from Blue Underground, courtesy of MVD, High Crime on 4K UHD. It also includes the CD soundtrack, which is cool, and a lot of new extras. So that all came in yesterday. So
That's awesome. Cheers to that.
Yeah. All right. So let's dig into it. Let's talk about Rocky.
So you want to start with 5?
What'd you say?
You want to start with 5? Is that what you said?
Well, I mean, if you want to do a rundown real quick of all the movies, that's fine by me. I mean, whatever you want to do.
Gosh.
Yeah, let's go and start with 5. I'm just messing around. Let's start with 5, guys. So, as you can tell, the title of this video, we absolutely love Rocky 5. It is the best Rocky out of every one of them. It beats even the first Rocky out of the ring. What am I talking about? Wait, Rocky 5 is that really crappy one, isn't it?
Yeah. A couple good things that I like, though. I mean, I like the Mickey scene in it, the cameo by Burgess Meredith. I think that's a cool scene.
Yeah.
But the beginning is like, it's like he's taking from the Specialist movie with Sharon Stone. He's
Sharon
like naked
Stone.
in the shower.
Yeah.
I mean, he's calling for Adrian. I just knew we were in trouble there. It's just, I don't know. For me, the acting is awkward, and it's kind of sad now with Sage Stallone, his son dead, and everything. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of problems with Rocky 5 for me.
There's tons of problems. I mean, I don't like the movie. It's definitely, I agree, it's the worst out of the entire franchise. I know there's some lovers out there that love it for whatever
There
reason.
really is. I mean, I did a review of the Ultimate Knockout Collection, and there was a ton of Rocky 5 fans. So maybe it's a cult classic now, but even Stallone says it's not a good movie.
Yeah, yeah. And guys, who's watching out there, if you have any comments or questions, leave them in the comment section. Let us know what you think of Rocky 5. Do you like it? Do you think it's not a good Rocky movie? In fact, I was looking at just a little bit of research, like some interviews that Stallone gave about Rocky 5. And I wrote it down here. It says in an interview, Stallone was asked to rate each one of the Rocky movies 1 out of 10, 1 being the worst. And he gave Rocky 5 a 0. And he said he must have had brain damage himself for writing this movie. I mean, that kind of sums it up right there. It's not a good movie, guys. Roger Ebert gave it a big thumbs down with a scathing review. I do know that Gene Siskel liked it, though. I actually watched a Siskel and Ebert review of it on YouTube last night, and Gene liked it a lot. I was surprised. And then Ebert is like, how can you like this mess? It's a mess. But he did agree, like I said, there are some good little scenes in it, but they don't really go anywhere. And then the pacing is all over the place, and the editing and the writing is just, I mean, Stallone says he must have had brain damage just to write this movie. So that sums it up right there. Rocky 5 is not a good movie. But let us know in the comments, guys, what you think of Rocky 5.
Have you seen the director's cut? Because I heard that was leaked out by Allison in early 2000s or something. Or
a long time ago, I heard it was on YouTube, and I found it on YouTube, but the quality was so bad I couldn't even watch it. And then, like in the middle of it, it just cut off. So I didn't. I don't know, but yeah, there's not really a director's cut, but there was a work print cut, and that he gave to the studio, and they said it was too long, and it was just even worse than the theatrical cut that we have. But he always wanted, Stallone and the director always wanted to go back and re-edit Rocky 5 to try to fix all the things that were wrong with it, try to make it more of a cohesive film, to the point where he was when he was doing Rocky 4 director's cut, he knew he could get Rocky Balboa director's cut, but he was trying to get Warner Brothers to get funding for a Rocky 5 cut, but it just didn't pan out. And I really think it's because they knew that it probably wouldn't make
money.
Right. Yeah, they're not going to pour, because it would have. I mean, I think I read that Rocky 4 director's cut, I think they poured in like close to 70 million, 60 million, somewhere around there, 60, 70 million to do that. And they knew that was the most popular one out of the franchise. So they knew that one would make money.
I mean, it saved the Cold War, right?
Yeah, it saved the Cold War. But yeah, it was released in theaters. I mean, they went so far as releasing in theaters.
I was there. I remember going a couple years ago, the Fathom event.
Yeah, I had tickets, and someone came up and I wasn't able to go. But yeah, so I heard that so that's Rocky 5. I'm interested to see what a new edited version would be like, but I don't know really what they can do to really improve on it. Because if the writing's bad, the writing's bad. They can't change that.
Right, unless there's a bunch of deleted scenes we don't know about, but there's had the street fight, which doesn't seem like Rocky to me.
Well, and the original ending of Rocky V, Stallone was supposed to die.
Yeah.
And so they can't put that back in it because so I don't know how much better they could actually make it. Let me know, guys, in the comments section what you've heard of Rocky V, the director's cut. Let's move into Rocky IV and let's talk about that. And first of all, guys, I just have to say that the 4Ks to these look amazing. They sound great. They look great. There was issues on this version where I think Rocky 2 and 3 had like a down mix instead of an up mix with the audio. And in Rocky 4, the theatrical cut, for some reason, it would switch ratios from like 185 to 235 in one scene in particular. And so they fixed all that, and that's what's on here, the new edition. And it looks fantastic and sounds fantastic. So we are going to talk a little bit about Rocky. Hell yeah. All right.
I was trying to see on the back if the director's cut is the only one with Atmos.
Oh,
I couldn't tell on the back there. It didn't say, but
I think no, I think it is. It says Rocky versus Rocky versus Drago and Rocky Balboa, the director's cut 5.1. I'm only seeing 5.1 is
okay. Well, I got done watching it again, and I just noticed the huge difference between the two for me is the sound design. I mean, he took out so many things that were cartoony, fake punches.
Yeah.
Even like a lot of the music is like re-edited and cues, background noise. I mean, if you guys watch that documentary at all on YouTube about the making of the director's cut, it's an amazing documentary. It's like an hour and a half, and it's free on YouTube. But he talks about taking out these fake punches and putting in real punch sounds and stuff like that. So the biggest thing initially I noticed was the sound design was spectacular.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I didn't know if it was Atmos or not.
I think in the theater it was, but on the 4K, it just looks like it's 5.1. But yeah, that's one of the biggest things, because I remember when Rocky IV came out and everybody hated it. They thought it was the worst movie, and it went along the line as, why do sequels always have to be worse than the original? And for a long time, that's what the stigma was. If it's a sequel, it's going to suck. And Rocky IV was part of that. And nobody liked it when it first came out. And I remember watching it on my dad rented on video, and he was like, "This is stupid. What am I watching?" He hated it. I know a lot of people hated it when it first came out. So I guess it was, people love it now. They think it's one of the best Rockies. But to me, I don't know. Is it because of how phony it looks? I mean, you know what I mean? Is it because it looks funny, or because go ahead?
I think it's very 80s. Like Stallone was probably going with the MTV type thing with all the montages and getting rid of. There's like hardly any score in this. It's all music.
Yeah. Well, that's the biggest thing, is like, I remember critics continually saying, this is just one big MTV music video. That's all it is.
Yeah.
There's no story, no plot. And that's really what it was until this director's cut. It changed it. It still has that montage, because I don't know if Stallone said he always hated that montage sequence, but I think he left it in for the fans personally.
Which one? The No Easy Way Out?
where he's where it shows Dolph Lundgren and him, where it intercuts with them doing training during the montage.
Before Hearts on Fire, the
where he's
80s,
like
like synthesizer.
running in the snow and stuff. Yeah. So I think he left that in for the fans because I think he knew the fans would just, they would throw a riot if he cut it out because so many fans love that.
There were people that were upset that the robot was cut out from 4.
Which
there's no robot. There's no Chipmunk song anymore. Yeah. Polly listened to the Chipmunks, the Alvin and the Chipmunks Christmas album. They replaced the intro with like Sweetest Victory from the album, which is more of a deeper cut on the Rocky IV soundtrack, with Sweetest Victories in the beginning. Eye of the Tigers at the end now. Are people complaining about that?
Really?
Yeah. I've gotten comments about it. We did make little tweaks to the montages, black and white for the No Easy Way Out one. And then he added in like Rocky punching a punching bag during Hearts on Fire, which is pretty cool. Yeah. And then having Paulie and him chop wood. Paulie's role is really cut down too. His jokes, he's not falling in the snow, and so a lot of the 80s cheese is gone.
Right. And it's literally, I mean, not literally, but it feels like a different movie. Different. It's got a whole new sound design. Like you said, the punches when they hit each other, it actually feels real now. It doesn't feel cartoony. It's not a goofball movie anymore. It feels like it better flows in with the rest of the saga.
It does. And I really like the scenes they added in featuring like Adrian, and there's a couple with Apollo and Rocky talking about his decision to fight Drago.
Yeah.
It's not just
really like complete, that. Yeah.
It's not just a complete murder in the ring either. Like Apollo does get some punches in. So he did the best he could to make it more grounded. I think it is a better film with the director's cut, with the new perspective from like present day. I think he went into it and knew what he had to do to change it to make it an effective film. There's still, the plot's very thin, and I think this, like you said, you can't change the writing.
Yeah.
He does use a different take at the end with like the "if I can change, you can change, everybody can change." He's not yelling it in the director's cut. Is more like, realistically just saying it.
Yeah. I know back in the 80s, I mean, Stallone was like one of the biggest stars out there. And he admitted the only reason he did Rocky 4 and 5 was for money. It's the only reason. So he did, I could see him just scrambling something on paper and turn it in and say, here's Rocky 4. I don't care about it. Let's just do it. I want my 15 million.
Still, I mean, I think it launched Dolph Lundgren's career for sure. I mean, he's got a knack for casting still. I think casting Dolph Lundgren was a great idea.
Yeah, 100%. Because I know they had other choices, and I mean, that's what launched his career for sure, and made him into, I wouldn't say a huge action star, but definitely a minor action star in the 80s and early 90s. Yeah. So Rocky 4 is or I guess, and they even retitled it Rocky versus Drago instead of Rocky 4. And the beginning. That's the title sequence is different too, right? Because I know the theatrical cut, it had the two gloves going head to head, and then it bursts into the title. I didn't rewatch it, so I can't remember. How does it just
ends with the end of Rocky 3 where he gets the title back.
Oh, okay.
And then it goes into the white credits like from Rocky 1 where it scrolls across and just says Rocky vs. Drago.
Okay, that's right. Yeah, which I think is much better too.
Yeah.
Like I said, it makes it much more grounded.
Another big change was the aspect ratio. He did 2:3:5 on the director's cut, and I think it really enhances the fight scenes.
Yeah, and it's the only Rocky that's filmed or not filmed, but was cropped to 2:3:5, and so that I thought that was a really interesting, also smart choice. That was a good.
And it has a completely new color grading as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because that movie was it 84 or 85, 80, somewhere around there, and you watch the new cut and it almost looks like it's modern.
I know.
And that's the only complaint I do have, is that when you look at that 4K compared to the first three, it looks out of place because of the new color grading, because it looks more modern.
Yeah.
That's the only complaint I have, but still, it's not like I'm not going to watch it. It's still a much better film. Let us know, guys, in the comments. Which version did you like better, Rocky IV, the theatrical, or Rocky versus Drago? Let us know.
So you're not going to watch the original ever again?
I probably won't.
Yeah.
I probably won't. I mean, I've never liked it. Like I said, when I saw it when I was a kid, I thought it was the dumbest crap I've ever seen in my life. And how old was I? I was what?
It's interesting too
I was 7
the
when this
documentary
came
about
out.
the director's cut. Stallone mentions how he wouldn't kill Apollo now.
Yeah.
And he talks about it like he'd put him in like a wheelchair or something. And so I was like, I don't know. I mean, I thought it was kind of a ballsy move to have Apollo die. How crazy it is and how corny it is. I think that's still like, oh, he actually got murdered in the ring. That's pretty crazy, violent.
I think they also needed that. I think it would have. I don't think it would have worked if he was just crippled. I think it would have been a cop out.
Yeah,
and it showed how ruthless Drago was. But actually, I love the director's cut because it also shows that it was his manager that was forcing him to be that violent when he really didn't want to be that violent.
Yeah,
I think there's a scene in there, a line where Drago's saying, "Why do I need to punch hard?" or something like that. He says,
"Yeah, there's a little bit of slice of humanity that Drago has."
Yeah,
that he kind of gets in Creed 2, but yeah, this is a nice little. He's not totally,
he's not just a machine.
Yeah, he's not.
Yeah,
he's a man. He's a human.
Yeah.
The Russians cut.
The Russian cut. Because I understand. I guess I understand that because the time of that making that movie, it was the Cold War. It was Russia versus America and the Reagan years, and so I can understand why they went that direction. But it doesn't hold up. It did not hold up. It's really nice seeing a lot of humanity in Drago, which again reflects with Creed 2, which was made years later, but still it's a nice thread that goes through that. Yeah. Well, let's talk about Rocky, the theatrical cut versus the director's cut. And this is the one that a lot of people are upset about.
Really?
I wouldn't say I was upset. I was a little disappointed. And the reason being is because I've heard for a number of years, and I don't know if you have, but there's people for a number of years. There's been rumors from Stallone himself saying that there was a 2-hour and 20-minute cut. I remember when the movie came out was 2006, and I remember reading an article where he gave an interview, I think Entertainment Weekly or something like that, where he said that there was a much longer cut that the studio wanted me to cut down to under 2 hours, and it was about 2 hours and 20 minutes. And so that rumor has been going around for well over 10 years now. And then he announces the director's cut's coming out, and so we're like, oh, we're finally going to see the 2-hour and 20-minute cut, the real cut. And no, it's not. It's not the 2-hour and 20-minute cut. Instead, I guess what they did is they just included into the movie deleted scenes that were on the DVD and the Blu-ray. I don't know if all the added scenes are the deleted scenes, but majority definitely are. I think
most of them are. Not the one with Polly's girlfriend.
Yeah. So but majority of the cut is basically just the deleted scenes added back in there. And I actually looked at the different runtimes here.
Almost 2 hours.
So yeah, the theatrical cut is 1 hour and 41, and the director's cut is 1 hour and 56.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I don't know why they didn't just do the 2-hour and 20-minute cut like the rumor. Then again, like I said, it is a rumor. I mean, who knows if the cut is actually out there? Stallone may have just been saying there is a longer cut that's close to 2 hours and 20 minutes, but it may not have been actually cut to 2 hours and 20 minutes. We don't know. And they just didn't want to put in the money to recut it to 2 hours and 20 minutes. I mean, there's no telling.
Do you think the extra 24 minutes would make it that much better?
Better? Probably not. Honestly, I don't think so. But I think for fans want to see it just to see it, but I don't know how much more they can really improve on from what we already have, honestly. What do you think?
I loved this director's cut. I thought it was enhanced everything in theatrical and then some. To me, It felt like this was a cut that Stallone gave the studio, and they were like, no, we need to turn this down to like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
People are not going to want to be in the theaters for 2 hours or whatever reason the studio gave him. They wanted things trimmed down. So I think this is an earlier director's cut.
That makes perfect
sense. Just
because
I think everything that deleted scenes is put in deleted scenes on the Blu-ray conveniently, and it's already mastered.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like they just took it out and put it in deleted scenes. So I think this was a real early cut, director's cut. I don't think he had any updates to it recently in the past 5 years or anything like that.
Well, I mean, one clue is that the sound design isn't different.
Yeah.
It's not different at all. The titles don't even look different. The font isn't. I don't think it doesn't look different.
The only sound thing I noticed was his brother's song "Take It Back" in the beginning is a little longer. But also it adds in like Rocky is trying to eat those eggs. That's not in the theatrical. To open it, he's like choking on the eggs. He's like he can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
That was added into the director's cut. It was not in the theatrical.
Yeah, was that a deleted scene? Because I remember seeing that scene. I thought I remembered seeing that scene before.
Yeah, it's a deleted scene.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I agree with you 100% that I do feel that it was just Stallone's original cut, and the studio's like, look, it's 2006. Number one, I don't think anybody's going to care about Rocky anymore, and number two, who's going to sit and watch this movie for over 2 hours?
And it was a miracle it even got made. If you think about it, after coming off Rocky V, it's a miracle that Rocky Balboa exists.
Right. And that's why it took so long for another one to come about. And the studio, I remember when this came out, the studio was fighting head to head with him saying, Rocky's dead. Nobody cares about Rocky anymore.
Yeah, he said it was harder to make than the original one.
Yeah.
That much of a battle.
Crazy. And so, and I remember it wasn't really heavily advertised either from the studio. Scott F. Hey, Scott, thanks for joining us. I honestly don't know if I've seen the director's cut. I couldn't tell you for sure. It's been forever since I've watched it all. I've watched it at all. Yeah, that's one thing that I actually told Dan. I sent him a text message, and I'm like, I haven't watched Rocky Balboa since it came out in Blu-ray, which was what,
2016, yeah.
2016?
2006, sorry. Yeah.
On Blu-ray? I think it was like, was it 2006 when it came out on Blu-ray?
2007.
2007. Yeah, so I haven't seen it for over 10 years. And so when I first watched the director's cut, I'm like, I haven't seen it so long. I have no idea what's new and what's not. And so I had to go back and I went ahead and rewatched the theatrical cut again just to refresh myself. So yeah, Scott, I mean, if you haven't seen this movie in that long of a time, you're probably honestly not going to know a difference. It's just going to look like the same movie to you. And that's, again, the huge difference between Rocky versus Drago and Rocky Balboa, the director's cut. Because you definitely can tell this is a whole new edit, a whole new cut of the film.
Now, did you like the director's cut at all of Balboa?
Oh, yeah.
Or you were still disappointed, or
no. I was just disappointed that when I heard it was announced that we're getting a director's cut, I immediately thought we're getting Stallone's 2 hour and 20 minute cut, or even 2 hour and 15 minute cut. That's what I was thinking. And then when I found out, basically it's under 2 hours. So my immediate thought was what you said. They're probably just porting in maybe a couple other scenes, but majority is going to be deleted. Then yeah, I was originally disappointed at first, but when I saw it, I loved it. I mean, I would definitely watch the director's cut over the theatrical cut when I watch it, for sure.
Me too. I mean, and especially the way that they put the scenes back in. I mean, some of them replace older scenes. Like there's one at the bar with the original bartender.
Yeah,
I love that they brought him back in this cut, and the way that he tells that the way that he tells Adrian died of like woman's cancer or whatever. But in the theatrical, he says it at the bar to Marie, but in here he says it to the bartender outside of like he's not sitting at the bar. He's sitting on like a table with the bartender. So little tweaks like that were cool to see. And then adding in that scene with Paulie, like having the whole breakdown in the alley.
Oh yeah,
Burt Young was just fantastic.
Well, I was going to say that I feel that the director's cut of Rocky Balboa gives more punch to the movie.
Oh yeah,
it gives more emotional punch, especially. I mean, you have the death of Adrian, and then his son becomes estranged to him, doesn't want anything to do with him, and Rocky is still grieving. He's still trying to dealing with the death of his wife, along with trying to get attention from his son. And he's also out of the game, and he's just managing this restaurant now. And so he's desperate to get his son back in his life. And so I think that it shows more of him being motivated more to actually get back into the ring too. And,
exactly.
Let's see, movie Mad Dog. Hey man, thanks for joining us. It was cool seeing Spider Rico return as well. Right. Yeah, because that was good. So yeah, I mean, I prefer the director's cut of both of them much better.
And even that scene when Paulie's breaking down, he finally admits that he treated Adrian so poorly. Like after all 5 movies, he's never really taken accountability for his actions because he's such a scumbag sometimes. But Rocky is like his best friend, you know. It's kind of just he keeps Paulie around in his life. But
even in the first Rocky movie, he was abusive to Adrian. Completely abusive to him, where Rocky, I think there's even one scene where Rocky almost threatens him saying, you stay away from her or I'm going to, beat you. So he was always a drunk and a user and he always treated Adrian poorly. So I love that scene as well. It really brought home, I mean, it didn't go overboard. It went just deep enough to give you that emotional impact that was threaded through the entire Rocky series.
I just can't believe the studio would cut that scene out. Man.
Who knows, man? It was just like, I don't think they cared about it, honestly. I really don't. I think they just put it out hoping they made some money, and I don't even know if it did make its money back.
It made a lot of money, actually.
Did it?
I think it did really well.
Well, yeah, because that's why they went ahead and did Creed. Was because
and then it got Stallone back in the game with did Rambo after that, Rambo 4, and then he did the Expendables. Had a little bit of resurgence there.
Yeah. Which Rambo 4, man, that movie was insane. I love Rambo 4.
There's the director's cut of that one too, though.
The director's cut. Yeah, and that's one thing that not all director's cuts are great. A lot of them they just put in little snippets here and there, maybe a minute or 2 extra. Stallone is one of those directors where if he's going to give you a director's cut, he wants to give you a director's cut.
A different movie.
Yeah, so he will do alternate takes, take out one take, put in a different take. He'll re-edit it, even different camera angles. Because I noticed, I believe there's one scene where there was even a different camera angle in one of the scenes that was different from the director's cut. And so it just shows that also he was never completely happy with, the theatrical cut and the way it turned out. So yeah, I'm very, very happy.
Stallone directed more stuff. I mean,
that he always wanted to direct, what was it? A movie I think it was about Jackson Pollock, the painter.
I thought it was Edgar Allan Poe.
I heard that one. I know that he wanted to do that one too, but I think it was also one about Pollock.
Okay.
I know there was a few different ones that he really wanted to direct.
I heard a rumor that his postscript is like amazing that he wrote.
Yeah. Because I know that he actually fully wrote the script of that, and that it was going to be greenlit, and then it fell through. Jackson Pollock may because Stallone's a painter, he's an artist, and so I know that he wanted to make one, but I don't think it got as far as a fully fledged out script. But I wish that he would have directed more dramas, because I think he, I think he. People say he's not a good actor, but look at the first Rocky movie. I mean, even Rocky 2. He is a really good actor, and when he has the right material, he can do some really strong emotional stuff.
Man, Copland.
Copland.
That's one of my favorite performances of his.
I always thought that he was nominated for Best Supporting Actor, and I cannot believe he didn't get that nomination. I mean, I think that's the best role he's ever done.
Oh, I think Copland.
So too. But he went the action route because obviously you make more money with the action route. So on one hand, you can't blame him. On the other hand, don't you have enough money? It's like, make the movies you want to make, But it is what it is. So yeah, I don't know. Have you heard if he's going to direct any more movies?
I haven't heard anything.
Yeah,
the only thing I could think of, maybe he'll do a Tulsa King episode, but
yeah, who knows? Yeah. But yeah, so that is our.
He actually, just to go back on that, he was planning an Amazon Rocky Balboa prequel series.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But since the stuff with the producers and all that, they had a big fight falling out. That's all been canceled, unfortunately.
Yeah, and that sucks.
So that would have been cool to see him show run that.
Yeah, let's just dive in a little bit on that whole mess just for a little bit, because it is really sad how I mean, they really just put him out in the cold in that. And I mean, Irving Winkler, he is the producer.
I mean, they're famous producers too.
Yeah,
Irving Winkler and Robert Chardoff.
Yeah, and they own all the rights to Rocky, because when Rocky won, the only way that they would make Rocky 1 and produce it is if they held all the rights. And Stallone said, yes, of course, here, because he wanted the movie. And now, so they held all the rights, so he has no say, absolutely zero say on anything. And I guess they wanted Michael B. Jordan to be the new face of Rocky. And it sucks, because you watch Rocky 3 and it just does not have the same tone. Did I say Rocky 3? Creed 3. It does not. Creed 3. It does not have the same tone. You miss Stallone. You miss his whole presence in the Creed 3 movie. It's just not the same. And I think Stallone really elevated. Creed 1 I still think is the best, but he elevated those first two movies so much.
Oh yeah,
by being in them. And
I think if Michael B. Jordan really wants to branch out, he needs to come with his own original idea to direct, because Stallone did.
Yeah, right. Because he really piggybacked off of Stallone, and then who knows what happened behind closed doors. But to me, it just looked like, this is my movie. I don't care what you have to say. I'm the star. You're out.
Yeah, he never gave Stallone any credit in interviews or anything.
And when I saw Creed 3, I thought at least they're going to mention something why he's not there. They didn't even mention him in Creed 3. I think they showed one little picture of him, photograph or something of him in the display case, and that was it. They don't even mention his name, which really shows they did not want him in that movie. Let's see, Dick Fritzwell. Hey man, thanks for joining us. Says, what's up with Rocky 5? They need a director's cut. I heard there's a bunch of unused footage. So we just talked about that actually at the beginning of this video. So you're going to have to actually watch the replay.
I knew Rocky 5 people were coming out here.
So Rocky 5, yeah, but it didn't happen. But yeah, we talked a lot about that in the beginning of this video, so there's no reason to rehash it again. So if you want to, you can go ahead and rewatch the replay that will be up. Let's see here. What is this? Cursed Vault Videos. Hey, man, thanks for joining us tonight. Man, I can only imagine how good it would have made Creed 3 if Rocky was at the Miss Creed's funeral. Dude, right?
Yeah.
Oh, man, it would just... It's just too bad. And I think that's also why Creed 3 wasn't as successful as the first two were.
I think it actually was the most successful one.
Is it? Was it?
I could be wrong, but I think the
look
box
it up
office wise.
Look it up for us real quick.
Yeah, box office wise, I think it was, but I don't know about critically.
Well, I know critics didn't really enjoy it, didn't like it. I mean, I went in watching it. I actually was not going to go see it because I hated the way they treated Stallone, and they did him dirty.
I went to streaming.
Yeah,
so it made $276 million. Let's see what the other ones made.
Well, on a budget of what?
75.
So it broke even.
Creed 2 had $50 million budget and made $214. And Creed had a $40 million budget, made $173.
Oh wow, okay. So it was the biggest, or box office wise. Yeah. I mean, it's like on one hand, I can understand what they're doing, trying to get with a new generation, but still let the new gen. You don't want to wipe out Rocky completely, right? I mean, at least talk about Rocky, and he had cancer in the last two movies, so maybe say, the cancer.
At least they didn't do him like that. They didn't be like, the cancer came back, he died. They didn't. They could have done that. That could have been way worse.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just like I just wanted something. Give some appreciation to him. Rocky made you the way you are in that movie. You wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Rocky. So at least give some appreciation to him. And I mean, Stallone too. Really, essentially, Creed wouldn't be made without Stallone with the first Rocky movie, without the Rocky franchise at all.
Yeah, he had to give Ryan Coogler his blessing to be and everything. Yeah.
So they really did him dirty on that. I really feel bad for Stallone. But yeah, that's about it. Give me your quick thoughts, Dan, on Tulsa King. What are your thoughts on Tulsa King?
On what?
Tulsa King.
Oh, I thought you said cocaine. I was like,
give me your thoughts on cocaine.
Tulsa King, I love it. I think it's not what I expected. I thought it'd be more of a drama, but it's kind of a comedy.
Yeah.
And I kind of enjoyed it the first season. I'm looking forward to season 2. I know they just wrapped filming, and
it starts in September, right? Yeah. I was really surprised about that too, about how much comedy there's actually is in the movie, in the show. It's actually really.
And he actually is like playing his age, because like when he gets with that girl, he's like, oh yeah, I'm like 78.
And which is complete opposite of Stallone when he made his
Arnold
show, Schwarzenegger, where he made his show. Yeah, FUBAR, and that show is complete FUBAR. When he made that show, he was making I think he was saying he was like in his late 50s, early 60s. And it's like, come on, man, you're not fooling anyone. And so that's one thing I've seen between Stallone and Schwarzenegger. Stallone's a lot more honest. Look at his documentary. I mean, Stallone went all in his private life. Stallone barely scratched the surface. So it's like, that's one reason why I favor Stallone over Schwarzenegger. But yeah. All right, guys, I think we're going to wrap this up. Thanks for joining us tonight. And if you came in here to hear us talk about Rocky 5, definitely just rewatch the replay. Rewind, get the replay. It should be up right after this stream is over. So thanks for joining us. Thanks for the interaction in the comment section. And as always, guys, keep physical media alive. Keep Rocky alive. And we will see you next time.
Keep punching.
Yeah.